National Guard troops are headed to D.C. ahead of the inauguration. That brings the total to more than 20,000 members, double the number at President Obama's inauguration. State capitals are also bracing for violent protests this weekend. The governors of Kansas and Missouri told us on Monday their departments are aware of the possibility of violent protests and are taking precautions.
Some Missourians are demanding Senator Josh Hawley resign, citing his objection to the electoral votes helped spur the Capitol riots. Protests took place in St. Louis, Columbia, and here in Kansas City. In each location, a couple dozen people showed up. Today, the senator released an op-ed on why he did object. 41 Action News reporter Audrey Gutierrez has more.
Though it wasn't a big crowd, they were determined to make sure Senator Josh Hawley knew they think he should resign.
I'm a Missourian, and I don't want somebody that incites coups and continues to push lies and enables violence to be representing me.
The 30 or so activists gathered outside the federal courthouse that contains Hawley's Kansas City office, where a member of the Real Justice Network delivered more than 127,000 signatures from a Change.org petition demanding that Hawley leave office.
What we saw in the nation's capital transcends politics, transcends ages, and our senator incited that.
This evening's protest comes on the same day Hawley wrote an op-ed published in a Southeast Missouri newspaper explaining his actions that he took on Capitol Hill last week. In it, Hawley characterizes the accusations that he helped incite the riot as corrosive and dangerous. He went on to say, in part, some wondered why I stuck with my objection following the violence at the Capitol. The reason is simple. I will not bow to a lawless mob or allow criminals to drown out the legitimate concerns of my constituents.
You have brought this shame to America. You, Ted Cruz. You, Josh Hawley.
The Lincoln Project, a group run by anti-Trump Republicans, have released several ads targeting Hawley. The head of the group told St. Louis Public Radio they'll run the attack ads against Hawley until he resigns or is expelled. We reached out to Hawley's office for a response to the ads and have not heard back yet. In Kansas City, Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.
Also important to note, the Lincoln Project buying ad time on local TV stations, including right here at KSHP.
Time now to switch gears, and apparently time to switch seasons. It looks like winter's making a return here.
Yeah, and it's going to come with some really windy conditions just before the winter weather does arrive. And the wind is doing some weird things to our temperatures again. It's caused us to warm up about 5 degrees from the 6 o'clock news. We're up to 47 degrees right now at KCI. It's 44 in Lee Summit. We do have some spots in the 30s, like Chillicothe, St. Joseph are both at 38 degrees. Hiawatha is at 41. Wind gusts right now are calm, almost non-existent. But look what happens when we go into tonight. I'll tell you the time because it's hard to see. Here comes 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Wind gusts now at 45 to maybe even 50 miles per hour possible, continuing through 6 and 7 o'clock before easing up a little bit late in the morning into the early afternoon. But the winds pick right back up later in the day, and then the snow follows. So I'll outline who I think could see the most snowfall coming up in my forecast. Caitlin.
Thank you, Wes. Multiple law enforcement officers in Wyandotte County are facing different charges based on 2 internal investigations.
Reporter Errol Rothfield breaks down the charges and why some in the community say hearing about this is actually a good thing.
Part of the history of Wyandotte County is people in power behaving badly without consequences.
When Marcus Wynn learned of a press conference at the Wyandotte County District Attorney's Office, he was not surprised.
We've heard lots of stories related to just rampant racism, rampant sexism, and corruption that have slowly come out.
On Wednesday, Mark Dupree announced charges against 4 law enforcement officers stemming from 2 separate events. The first incident happened along I-70 and involved a car accident. Dupree alleges a detective with the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office left the scene of the accident, and 2 others, a then KCK police detective and a major within the Sheriff's Office, tried to obstruct the investigation.
There are officers who are saying today enough is enough, and they're tired of living beneath a flag of foolishness, and they're not taking it anymore, and neither are we.
The second incident involves a KCK police officer who allegedly engaged in prostitution while in uniform and on duty. He has since been placed on administrative leave.
Our hope is that the community sees that regardless of who you are, what position you hold or what title you hold, that no one is above the law, and all of us should be held accountable for the actions that we take.
That is what the organization More Squared has been fighting for, transparency and accountability in Wyandotte County, which Marcus Wynn says Wednesday's announcement shows is a good step forward.
I'm hopeful that we can get through this process and through to the other side where we actually have the community that we all want, one where people are treated fairly.
Dupree is asking anybody with information about potential misconduct to contact the Community Integrity Unit at 913-573-8100. Reporting in Wyandotte County, Ariel Rothfield, 41 Action News.
In Kansas City, the police department says half of the department is now outfitted with body cameras. 340 of those cameras were given to the department through a grant from the DeBruce Foundation. One officer said it makes their job easier.
Usually it's your side, the citizen side, and then, you have the unknown. But now that we have the body cameras and they're there with us all the time, there won't be that unknown. It'll always be, what happened, what took place.
The Board of Police Commissioners already approved the purchase of 475 additional cameras expected to arrive this spring. Now, despite some delays caused by COVID-19, progress is being made in KCK. Equipment installation began before Christmas, and officers began training 2 weeks ago. They say they hope to have everyone ready by the end of March.
Violence in Kansas City, something we are all hoping to see less of in 2021. That's why 41 Action News talked with city leaders during a town hall this afternoon to find solutions. Police Chief Rick Smith says he's looking to spend more time with people outside of the department.
We would like to see the community. We'd like to interact with them. We'd like to talk about how they feel and what they see as important in their neighborhoods and what's going on.
Mayor Quentin Lucas and Jackson County Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker also took part in our town hall. You can watch the full video at kshb.com. Just look for the story on our main page.
Well, starting now, there are some new guidelines for Kansas City bars and restaurants. Instead of having to close at 10 p.m., those businesses can now allow customers to stay inside until midnight and close 30 minutes later. There is still a 50% capacity limit, and people are still required to wear masks indoors unless eating or drinking. Mayor Quentin Lucas says the city will review that order next month to see if they need to reinstate some of those more restrictive measures. However, the city's state of emergency order today was extended to May 1st. New tonight, Clay County has also updated its guidelines. Take a look. Starting tomorrow, the restrictions there will mirror other areas of the metro, including Kansas City and both Jackson and Wyandotte counties.
Neighbors delivering meals with a side of hope.
We just wanted to continue to serve those who serve us.
Wait till you hear about this. The inspiring actions putting a smile on the face of local healthcare workers every single week.
H&R Block has dozens of jobs open in Kansas City right now, and some of them don't require any previous experience. We'll tell you all about them coming up tomorrow morning on We're Hiring.
You're watching 41 Action News.
All right, we want to clarify our story from last night concerning a rezoning project in southern Johnson County. The proposal is to rezone an area off 207th Street so a warehouse could be built as part of an industrial park. The Edgerton Planning Commission has not approved the rezoning request. Last night, they voted to continue the conversation at their next meeting, which is set for February 9th. We apologize for that mistake.
Well, Kevin, I'm sure you've heard this one. The way to someone's heart is through their stomach. So, healthcare workers at the University of Kansas health system must really be feeling the love. This after some local businesses donated more than 80,000 meals and snacks.
A lot of love there. As 41 Action News anchor Gabriella Pagan shows us, a lot of those meals are from just 2 nearby restaurants as they struggle to keep their own doors open.
Since the pandemic began nearly 10 months ago, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen, and DeBronx Pizzeria together have fed their neighbors and first-line workers at the University of Kansas Health System every single week.
It's just incredible that they've continued to think about us and support us, especially as their businesses are struggling as well, like every restaurant in the city.
The charitable portion of this is really, really great, but it's still all about the relationships. You know, if we can provide, a meal for someone that is, busted their butt all day long.